Hi, everybody. Welcome to day 8 of Let's Write a Novel Together. Can't believe we're on day 8 already. It's going quite quickly. But listen, hey, if you have just come across this channel and you think that doing this Let's Write a Novel Together would be good for you in your writing, do be sure to hit the subscribe button and then that little bell so that when I next do a video about this, or even one of my lovely interviews, you get notified and you have the option to come and watch it if you want. So I'm doing this series because a lot of people I work with, they know they're writing their first novel and they don't understand yet that they have to develop a process. And it's hard to trust that there is a process when you've never written a novel before and you don't know what the process is and how it's going to evolve. So it's a bit of a chicken and an egg. So I'm starting a new book. I'm at the very beginning of it. It's called Before the End. It's a thriller. And I thought, this will be a really good opportunity for me to share my process with any other new writers out there so they can see how I work and see how imperfect it is and how I have to go through some really positive times, some really negative times, that the story gets changed and rejumbled around many times before the final plot line, at least, and the storyline are kind of put in place and cemented in. I am using Story Genius by Lisa Cron. For my money, this is the best way to get started with a book. I think the way that Lisa gets you thinking about your novel and a way into your novel, whether you're a planner or a pantser, I think this is a super process and one that I've been going through. So here we are on day 8. If you want to go back to the beginning, you can follow through along with me at your own pace. And I take you through each of the beginning stages of Lisa Cron's book, Story Genius. So we're really looking at why we're writing this book, what we want to say with this book, who is in this book, and what's going on in their life before the story starts. And the exercises that she gives us really helps us create a character, really, like a well-rounded character, one we can really work with. So as I say, today is day 8. Previously, day 7, we were looking at why does your character want what they want. So day 6 was what does your character want at the beginning of this book. Day 7 is about why do they want that. And then day 8 is we're looking at the misbelief. You've heard people talk about the misbelief, the flaw. In romance, I think it's often called the wound. But really, it's that inner desire, that inner kind of element of them that sees the world in a way that is not benefiting them. They're seeing the world in a way that's holding them back in some description. So, if we were thinking about the wound in a romance story, they've been hurt in the past and their heart's closed up a little bit in some way because they've learned a lesson from a previous relationship that's closed them off to something in the future. By the end of your story, when they meet the new Prince Charming, they've managed to kind of heal up that wound and move beyond that wound. So that's the same in any story. There is something that your character is trying to move through and beyond so that they have this personal inner growth and change in that story arc that we see a lot about. So now we're on day 8, we're looking at the misbelief and trying to figure out, okay, well, what is it that they have learned in their life? What has life taught them? That they need to behave in a certain way and they need to view the world in a certain way that's going to keep them safe, stop them getting hurt, stop them getting betrayed, stop them being made a fool of, whatever it might be. They believe that seeing the world in this way is a way to protect themselves. And what we discover over the course of the novel is that the way that they're seeing themselves is not protecting them. It's not keeping them safe. So bearing in mind what you were working on yesterday, and I do urge you to go back to kind of look at it. So what my character wants, Ashley, she wants to have a baby. She doesn't know it at the beginning of the story. That's something she's going to find out, but she wants to have a baby. And why does she want that? Because partly her biological clock is ticking, but also her husband wants a baby as well, and she too wants to be a family. She had a great upbringing and she wants to replicate that, and it's kind of the natural course of life for my character Ashley. But deeper than that, though, is the inner message that having a baby would give her. And it's that if she'd made that conscious decision to have a baby, it would mean that she feels mature enough, grown up enough, and she would trust herself enough to look after another human life. And so for me, or for Ashley, then that misbelief that becomes a part of that then is and I've sort of alluded to this already, but then that misbelief that she currently holds is that she cannot look after a baby because she cannot look after herself. And if she can't look after herself, how on earth can she look after another human being? So the idea of her not being she's not responsible enough. So for example, and if you've watched the other videos, we know that she's lost a ring when she was a little girl. She's always losing her keys, even as an adult. And then she was responsible for losing control of her dog, and her dog ran out onto the road and was killed. So she's blaming herself. She's internalized all of these things as signs that she is irresponsible. She can't look after anything. She can barely look after herself. How on earth can she look after another human being? So that is the misbelief for my character Ashley, which has come about from these exercises that we've been doing beforehand about the 3 turning points, the origin scene. I think that is still to come up, actually. Yeah. Yay. So from her childhood experiences, previous experiences, they've all led up to this moment, to the self-belief about herself, that her flaw is she can't look after herself. So if you're just joining me on day 8, go back, have a listen to the other exercises, go through them, and you'll get to this point where you're looking at the misbelief that Lisa Cron asks us to think about. Yeah, try defining your protagonist's misbelief as concisely as you can. Take time to explore it, and don't worry about whether you're writing it well. Turn off that kind of editor nitpicking brain. Just see where it goes, see what happens. Dig deep, she says, because you are going to capture the conflict, the yin and the yang of the misbelief that is going to drive your whole novel. So there's a lot in there. So let me know in the comments below. Ding, ding, ding. What is the misbelief for your character? And if you've already been working on Lisa Cron's book, if you've used it in the past, let me know what you think about this activity about coming up with the misbelief for your character and how it resonated with your story. I'd love to hear your experiences with it too. All right, I'll leave it there for now. I'll see you soon. Bye.